Hi everybody, Luke Hector from the Broken Meeple here, and I don't normally do these kind of promo shout-outs, but on this occasion I thought it was a nice gesture from them, and I like these things, so I figured, you know what, that was worth giving a little shout-out on the channel. Basically, what I've got here is a bunch of poster portraits from a little company called State of Playing Design. They are based in Southsea, which is literally pretty much next door to where I live. I live just outside of Portsmouth in the UK. It's an online store and they sell poster board game art. If you've ever been around my local board game cafe Dice, you'll notice that they've got some of them on their walls there. And so they got in touch with me on Instagram. I saw them on Instagram as well. I was like, oh wow, you're based locally, this is great. And without asking for anything or anything like that, they basically sent me a few that I could hang up on my wall. You know, no cost, no nothing. They didn't even ask for a video. Well, you're getting one anyway. And it's run by a couple, Jack and Anna. It's a web store only, and you can buy direct from their store. Possibly international shipping. I'll have to double check. I'll put it in the text on the screen if it's the case. They cost about £18 per poster. They're A3 size. They don't come in frames. I've done that myself. I just bought some cheap frames from the range, basically. But yeah, you've got a nice A3 poster. And I just wanted to showcase what I've got here. This is essentially what, 5 out of a good 15 to 20 or so that they've got on their store, and they've just basically taken some popular board games and done various art for them. So hopefully this will come out well on the camera per se. This one definitely, they've tried to highlight some games that they know I like. So a Ticket to Ride one, yeah, you can bet I was going to have one of these. Hopefully I'm going to put a couple of these up in the study where they'll show on some of my detail videos. A couple of them will probably go in this room, and the other one I'd have to either try and fit in this room or fit in that study. I don't know. I'll find somewhere to put them. It's just that entire wall is taken up by board game covers, so there's no so much room on there. I could certainly get a couple there next to my TV, 2 in the study. I'll have to think about where to put the 5th. But this is Ticket to Ride, so you've got an old-fashioned train station, train pulling in, silhouette people, and the various stop button there. Quite a cool one. This one's my favourite of the range that I've got so far, which is Viticulture. This one is a beautiful sunset of an Italian vineyard. The villa in the background there, the stream, the various vineyards, the trees silhouetted, everything's cast in a shadow as if it was the sun rising. Really nice and gorgeous, this one. This is definitely, I think, my favourite of their range. And I mean, as you can tell, the idea with the art is that it's not meant to be like super detailed or photographic or anything. It's like a nice, pleasant art, and it's related to the board game in question. So, Viticulture. Next one we got Wingspan. This is another one that I quite like as well. The sort of like gentle pastel colours there. You've got the birds on the branches, the tree, a couple of doves flying there, swan in the legs, some ducklings, a flock of birds in the very background. You might not be able to catch that on a camera, but it's essentially showing, you know, air, land and water for them. And a nice little nest there with a couple of eggs for Wingspan. This one, I believe they've got this one at Dice. They've got most of them up at Dice, actually. But there's another one I quite like as well for Wingspan. And then, of course, well, they know what my one of my favourite games was of all time, Spirit Island. Now, this one doesn't have a huge amount of stuff on it, but it's got the little ship there with some invaders on it. It's got the mountain, the forest, the beach, a native there with like a spear and banner. So it's almost like the precursor to what happens in Spirit Island. I mean, it might have been cool to have maybe had a spirit or two in there somewhere, but this is kind of setting the scene. It's like a beautiful paradise that's about to be invaded. So this one's a bit more minimalistic than the others, but as I say, I'm glad to have a Spirit Island-esque poster to go with one of my favourite games. And this one, which is probably my 3rd favourite, I think, out of the 5 I've got here. This one I quite like. It's an Arkham Horror themed one, so this is darker. Set at night with the moon. It's got a 1920s couple there overlooking the lake. It's like they're on a little romantic date, I think, because it looks like they're one's hugging the other. But in the background, you've got like the city. I forget where it's sort of set, but you know, the Arkham City in the background. But what I really like, and you probably can't make this out on the camera, but there's tentacles kind of like rising out of all the buildings in the background, like the apocalyptic event is happening. So you've got some of the Cthulhian tentacles there, but it's like faded in the sky, you know. So it's like this is a very nice city with a dark history and past about it. But I think that suits Arkham Horror really nicely. So these are the size of an A3 poster, essentially. But you probably are going to need to do a little bit of trimming to get them into a frame. This one is meant to be an A3 poster frame, but I noticed that as much as it was wide enough, it wasn't tall enough to fit the poster in. But the posters come with a big border around the outside, and all I did was took a guillotine to the top and bottom of it so that I could keep the poster design by State of Playing logo at the bottom there, but I just just trim off the top bit. Doesn't bother me. I mean, I think it gives it a slightly unique look to have a border like around the sides and a little bit at the top and the bottom, you know, to keep it relatively uniform. But honestly, when you've got a white frame around it, who cares? It doesn't really affect it. But yeah, suffice to say, you're probably going to want to take one of these with you to the shop to try it out in a frame before you purchase, or you're going to have to accept that you're just probably going to need a guillotine to trim some of the edges off. But as I say, nothing of the picture has been trimmed off in order to get it in the frame, so there's not a problem there. But if you don't care about the frames, then just buy the poster on its own and hang it up on your wall, whatever you want to do. But I kind of wanted to mount these, and these were just cheap, what, £3.50 white frames from the range. You can get whatever fancy frame you like, really, and it will do the job just fine. But yeah, so this is essentially what State of Playing do. Bunch of board game art, and this was Viticulture and Wingspan. I know for a fact that they do brass, so if you're, and to be fair, the brass one does look quite nice, but I didn't want a copy of brass on my shelf, that's for certain. And they've got various other games as well. I believe they've got a Catan one that they can use, but by all means, go to the web store and check out what they've got. Hopefully I've shown a few pictures on this video. By all means, I'll put up a web link in the description so you can check out their store in Southsea. As I say, it's a web store, not a brick and mortar store, so you can't go and visit them per se, but they've got an Instagram channel which they'll show off some of the artwork, and failing that, just go to their web link anyway. They're very nice people, and I'm grateful for these. I look forward to getting these on the wall and showcasing them. Hopefully a couple of them will appear in some of the detailed top 10 videos. So that's it for me on this, and for State of Playing board game design art. And if you like what you see, please remember to leave a thumbs up and comment on the video. Does this art take your fancy? Are you the sort of person that would like to put board game art on your wall? If so, let me know what kind of things you've found. We can suggest them to other people in the comments. Until next time, remember as always, it's only a game. And if you want to check out more content, you can check out my reviews of Dixit Stellar that have gone up recently, as well as a quick review on the Book of Rituals and Board and Dice. Take care, and remember as always, like I literally just said a second ago, it's only a game, or it's only a poster. Either way, it looks good. Take care. Bye for now.